Welcome to Reading Between the Line with Tandaman. I have with me you of DeBond, and this is the third episode of Reading Between the Lines. Welcome, you.
Nice to meet you, and I'm Yu from DeBond. We are based in Paris, so great to see you.
Absolutely, likewise. So before we begin, why don't you give us an introduction about yourself so everyone can know who you are?
So I previously said, I'm Yu, and I've been living in Paris for around 6 years. And I come from China, and I lived in Canada for several years. Afterwards, I get my master's degree in statistics and work as a backend in EXA. Uh, Afterwards, it's like 3 years ago, around the year 2020, sorry. Uh, there's something come into our pictures. It's so-called DeFi. So basically, it promised that we can build a decentralized trusted system. And for me, this is something very innovative. And I'm very I mean, say, enchanted by this concept. So I started learning about Solidity, and until today, I had two DeFi projects before, and they are called Great Finance and Sub Helper. So basically, for this DeBond company, because we are based in Europe, we are more focusing in providing Web3 solutions for the Web2 companies and also KYC compliance for the Web3 companies. So basically, we work on the compliance side for Web3 companies, and we work on the providing Web3 solution side for the Web2 companies. So that is basically our business, and we regard us as a BAS company, a blockchain as a service. So really nice to have you in the call, and really nice to speak to you, and for all your audience as well.
Likewise. You said that you come from China, you've lived in Canada, now you're in France, right? So from that perspective, you have a unique position where you can sort of think from multiple angles, right? You can think from a Chinese angle, you can think from a Canadian angle, and you can think from a French angle. So when you're looking at Web3 as a whole, and we'll just come to Dbond, but I just wanted to get your perspective. When you're looking at Web3 as a technology, and you're looking at it from the hat of a Chinese person, a Canadian person, and then a French person, what differences do you see? And do you see, say, a multifaceted approach to
Yes.
Web3?
So I think that's a very good question. Maybe one of the best question I've never been asked. So basically, for me, as a Chinese or maybe all the Asians, we cares not only about the process but the result. So for us,
Yep.
if Web3 is a tool, we need to know why we invent this tool and how can we use this tool and what accomplishment we can fulfill using this tool. So that is basically the goal. But Web3 for me right now, most of the people they are not inventing a tool because you need a new tool. It's because you invent a tool and search a use case. So the famous example will be the NFT. But this is a totally different compared with a traditional, maybe we say a typical concept of finance. So basically, usually a better tool is developed after you encounter some difficulties. So in DeFi, what I found out as a Chinese person, as a Canadian person, as a European, so basically for most of the regions, when people talk about the Web3, you have, let's say, two sides. One is Web3, it's everything, it's the best, it can do anything we want, we can invent anything with Web3. So on the other hand, you have people think that Web3 will become the tool of all the existing problems we encounter right now and solve most of the questions. Basically, if you ask me to align with one side, I would like to align with the second side, which means that I believe Web3 is a tool. It can't be independently exist despite all other influence. It's not possible. It's not possible to create a utopia with Web3 technology, and because the physical world is real and the physical world is based on laws and government authorities. So basically, I think Web3 will be a tool that can help the all existing finance system to be more efficient, much more transparent, and less corruption. So that is, I think, is the future of DeFi or Web3 in general. It's not a goal. Web3 for me is not a goal, but it's only a tool to make a better financial system.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. And so when we talk about DeBond, you, why don't you give us a few use cases of how DeBond could be used for someone uh, transitioning from a Web 2 to Web 3, right? That is one of your goals. You're trying to help Web 2 companies become Web3 companies, which is a great pitch to start off with. Because if you're a Web2 company right now, you don't know what is Web3, what is going on with Web3, and if you can come in and help these companies using DeBond, that is something I think our audience would love to know. So why don't you tell us how you can help us transition Web2 companies into Web3 companies?
Okay. So basically, if you are a Web2 companies, when I speak the word Web3 or when I speak the word blockchain, you will most likely think about two things. The first thing is the opportunities Web3 brings, and second one is all the fraud and all the scamming activities in blockchain. Basically, for them, there are two things they care the most. The one is, like I said, the KYC compliance. The second one is, I think, is also more important, is I made a metaphor about inventing a tool. So basically, right now, let's say the Web tool, it's a chariot. So they're driven by a horse and they need horsepower. So right now, if someone said that we invented something that this thing called car, and you don't need a horse to drive this. So basically, for them, they can see there will be a great potentials. There will be a new world for everything, but they don't know how to apply their needs and use case to the Web3. And most of the time, if they see that on Web3, you can have a better way to deal with all the issues you are suffering right now in Web2, they will search for a Web3 answer. So right now, what we provide is on the first side, we provide technologies to allow them to convert their chariots into cars, one side, and second side is also we provide compliance. Let's say before on the most of the European countries, you have laws that only describing how you are going to drive a chariot. Sorry, but right now, you don't have any laws concerning the cars, but the laws for the cars are they are there. They will be here anytime. So basically, it's something will come soon. So basically, we need to be prepared for that as a Web2 company. So we provide those two-side solutions, KYC solutions for compliance, and the tech solution for the implementation of their use case and their need. That's basically what we can do for a Web2 company.
Absolutely. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. So when I'm thinking of DeBond, and right and center is the fact that you're based out of France, right? Right now, we all know that Europe is sort of facing an energy issues, right? Is it possible for you, and the heart of the debate in European Union is how do you track the origination of the energy, right? Where does it originate from? So do you think tokenization as a method is something that European Union should adapt to not only implement it for energy, which may be a use case immediately, but going forwards, other things that Europe and European Union could use in terms to track if goods are sourced ethically, right? We've always had this conversation where if the textile industry is using ethical practices where child labor is not used, where other exploitative methods are not used, right? So do you think tokenization and Web3 as a technology can sort of help in tracking that?
Yeah, of course. So basically, what you mentioned is a typical use case. So basically, we have a goal and we have problems, and we have one way to, let's say, correct those problems is by the Web2 solutions. And maybe
Right.
Web2 solutions can't cover all the use case. So right now you need to have a Web3 solution. But before that, we need to know that why Web2 solutions is not powerful enough. I mean, to track everyone to do anything. But actually, Web2 solutions is very powerful, and most of the governments runs very smoothly. The why we bring the idea of Web3 is firstly, we want to make all the transactions traceable. And we want to keep anonymous on blockchain, but on the other hand, be KYC compliant. So both two seems like a dilemma. You can't accomplish them. But actually in Web3, you have the answers for those two questions. The first one, let's say about everything being public and transparent. So like you said, about a government may European Union, let's say consider it as an entity. It's composed of multiple countries. So for example, for the same amount of population or same amount of GDP in China and the United States, it's one government who hold air control of everything. So you don't need a decentralized way for the states and in China. But in Europe, the difference is that you have a lot of not only a central European power, and also you have local governments. I mean, the French governments, German governments, and they all have their central bank. They all have their own system, financial system. They all have their own application. Everything is not the same. So basically, for Europe, why the idea about tokenization is that interesting and seduce that many persons, sorry, is because the idea of tokenization can solve those issues. The issue is you don't have a standard. It's like you know the story of the first emperor of China. They unified the whole China. So before, all the countries use their own standard. They are using their own languages. Everything is belong to them. So basically, if you want to form a combined system, you need to combine all the standards together. So blockchain is a very good chance to combine the standard together. So in France, you have CAC index. In other country, you have other index. So basically, using blockchain, you can build a system that can combine all the things, all the financial products, everything together on chain. And this can give access to all the European banks, all the European clients, maybe clients and banks outside Europe. So this is the huge market, huge potential they see. And this is the solutions we want to find for them and we want to build for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. Um, Also, so if I am a Web2 company, right, and I'm looking at DeBond, right, I'm looking at this interview, great, I like what you're saying, and I want to consider maybe becoming a Web3 company. Why should I become a Web3 company? I'm a Web2 company. Why should I become a Web3
Yeah.
company?
So the idea is right now. So you are a driver. You are someone before you are someone who is a driver of I don't know how to say it, but it's like a chariot. It's a horsepower something. So you be a driver of that thing. So why you are going to use a car? Because simply car is more efficient. So I think the idea of separate Web2 companies and Web3 companies may not be good. Basically, both the chariot and the car, they're the same thing. They are means of transportation. So you are someone you want to a better mean of transportation. So for this case in blockchain, it's better way of accounting, better way of communicating, better way of exchanging information. So that is the changes and what we can get from the system. So basically, why you are going to use the new system? Because you have some problems you encounter. For example, we had a partner in China called IGE, and they are the one of the biggest intellectual property holders in China. They hold a lot of intellectual properties, but they find out that it's their subscribers, the one who sell their literatures or film, movie to users. Those guys, they will, let's say if they sold 10 copies, they will say, I only sold 5 copies because you don't have a physical copy, so you can track. But using blockchain technology, you can track how many copy they actually sold, and you can even create a system that allow you to convert all the intellectual properties into some kind of derivatives and trade on a secondary market. So this is the solutions that Web2 can't give to them. That's why you need to swap to a Web3 solutions, but your company still is a company. No company, no Web2 company or Web3 company. You are only a company who use Web2 solutions or use Web3 solutions. And of course, not all the Web3 solutions are totally on-chain. You can have a ways that only keep one part of the solutions on-chain, one part off-chain. So that is a perfect model to have more efficient, usable, and trustworthy system without suffering any outage of the system. So basically, that's why Web2 companies, let's say Google or any other companies, they want to have Web3 solutions. It's not because it's trendy to do so. It's because they have a need, and their current solutions can't allow them to deal with the problems. But Web3 solutions, maybe they can deal with the solutions and give them a better market, maybe better performance. That's why they are changing and using new Web3 solutions.
Absolutely. Also, as I look at your website, DeBond, right? It clearly says that you're trying to use DeFi to create bonds for Web3, right? Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
So basically, the infrastructure we are talking about, you have mainly two things. We have one KYC standard for the SVT certificate issuing, and we have another standard called ERC-3475, which is a Ethereum approved token standard. So the idea about ERC-3475 is you have a new way, an innovative way to store data. And the data can be arranged in the way that you can cover all the use cases. So using a metaphor, let's say now the Web3 is a smartphone. And for the smartphone, all the typical token standards, they are smartphone with a keyboard. So you have a typical keyboard, you have a typical screen, and all that data fixed. So people can creating applications based on that. Let's say you have a BlackBerry smartphone with a keyboard that you have certain amount of keys, and none of them will be changed for no matter what region. But right now, you create an application and you need a set of keys that BlackBerry don't have. Or you create an application, you need only 3 keys, and all other keys you don't need. You need bigger screen. So basically, for a typical physical keyboard mobile phone, you can't do anything with that. So this limit the development of the application and the whole industry. Why touchscreen phones much more popular and actually destroy the physical keyboard mobile phones? It's because the virtual screen, let's say the virtual keyboard on a touch screen of phones, it's something can be adaptable to any use cases. So no matter what kind of thing I want to create, use a touch screen, I can find a way to create it. So that is the beauty and the most important part about creating a standard that can be used for all the use cases. It's because you are creating a touch screen mobile phone, and using this, everyone in any use case can create their own financial product. Bond is one of them. So why the company is called DeBond is because bond is something easier to understand. But the basic concept about a token standard is not only a bond, actually what we call is obligation. So it represents a kind of right or a kind of obligation that you need to obey or otherwise you need to obey. So that is the idea of our ERC-3475 DeBond token standard. And not only for bond, can also be used for other use cases as well.
Absolutely. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. Is escrow a use case? For instance, if you have a digital asset, let's say you have a metaverse land, right? And you want to give the usage rights to another company, but you don't want to sell the land. Similar to how we do in real world, right? If you're a landlord, you don't want to sell the land, but you want to lease it out to a company. Is that something that DeBond can sort of help companies do?
Yeah, I think we can do this, but in fact, if this is the only use case, so the sort of renting problems, there are other token standards, other solutions more, more efficient in this way.
Yeah.
So what DeBond is solving in this case is what we call a scalable issue. So let's say you don't have one land, you have 200 land, and you want to you know the idea of NFT5. So
Yeah.
basically, you want to make the NFTs become a financial product. So what is your obstacles? Two obstacles. First one, it's a liquidity issue. So NFT being invited because they are not fungible. And if they are not fungible, you don't have a good amount of liquidity and you can create a market. You can't create a big market for this. And second one is how you are going to evaluate the land. How are you going to evaluate the NFT? Basically, DeBond can solve those two issues. The first one is the quantification issue, liquidity issue, and the second one is the pricing issue. So DeBond have a solution and a Dutch auction method that can allows you to find a right price range for an NFT and a good way to merge them together, separate them into pieces and merge them together again. So basically, you have ways to quantify NFTs, and you have also a way to pricing the NFT. So that is basically what we are very strong at. But for the landing, so landing is actually a process, it's action. But before this process, you need a lot of preparations. So we are good at preparations, but if you are talking about the process itself, I think there are better solutions exist in the market.
Absolutely. Do you think the future of Web3 is using centralization or decentralization? Because both models have their own pros and cons.
So it depends. So basically, the if you observe all the um, species on the planet, uh, all species who have a will or passion for society, that tend to be centralized. For example, you have bees, you have queen bee. So in a country, you have king, you have queen. That's how the system works. People are more tend to form a centralized society. But right now, why we don't need a centralized society? Because they are inventing a new idea, a new concept called liberal economy, called liberty. And this concept says that if you give power too much to one person, the wrongdoing of this person will affect the whole communities. So basically, in this case, we need to separate the power into small beings like ours. And the idea about decentralization actually comes from this way. So it's like a Darwin's societies. You have 10 sets of solutions. Only the toppest, the best solutions can survive in the market, which is totally liberal. So for me, the idea about centralization and decentralization is not that important. The important is that allow everyone to try their own way. The one will survive after everything will be the best solutions for us. And most of the time, those kind of solutions are best not only for us, but for the whole generation. And once we find the solutions, we'll not change it. Until one time later, it's like when blockchain appears, the old system find out they need some re-justification, they need some updates, and new things come up, and we combine the best part of the new thing, that is the blockchain, use this and put this inside of existing system. Then the existing system becomes more efficient. So we can say that if you are on two sides, centralized and decentralized, the world is not like this. The world is always in between. The idea is that the world will be more decentralized, but the decentralization, like I said, is not a goal, but only a mean. And what we want to get is a better, more efficient economic system, more transparent society, transparent government, transparent banking system. That is what we want to get. And to accomplish this goal, we can use Web2 solutions. We can use centralized solutions, decentralized solutions. We can use many kind of solutions, but the goal is the same. We care only about what will be the end? And the end is that the society will be much more open, much more transparent, and the economic system will be much more efficient.
So basically, it's not centralization or decentralization. It's more like an oligarchy versus democracy. So it doesn't matter, even in a decentralization, if you are a whale or not, every individual gets one vote. And then it is
Yes.
more like a democracy. Everyone chooses together, regardless of however much resources you have as an individual. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.
So basically, let's talk about evolution of our society and how the wealth are being distributed. Let's talk about this in a Marxist way. So basically, as our technology develops, as education level of society develops, we need always find the best. I mean, we don't talk about best. We talk about the ones shoot us the most. So there aren't any best system. Best system does not exist. It's based on our productivities. It's based on our human nature. It's based on everything. Basically, we can only find a more adaptive solutions. But for now, the old system, let's say the oligarchy, let's say the centralized capital system, is not working anymore. The 2008 and the economic crisis will come, will prove this. Right now, we need to find a new answer. And this time, we find a new answer. We don't need to destroy the old one and completely swap to the new one. This will never work. We should do is we change the old one and make it more efficient. So that is my goal, and I think it should be the goal of the whole Web3 community.
Absolutely. So it's interesting that you talk about the economic crisis because we're, according to a lot of consensus, we're in the middle of one. So do you think we are in an economic crisis or a winter, especially from the crypto and Web3 market? And
So if you are
do you
talking
think we
about,
recover from that?
yeah, I think if we are talking about crisis, it must have some kind of definition. So it's by definition for me. If I'm talking about very academic sense, I don't think we are in a crisis right now. It's more like a recession. Basically, the first thing you experience is that the government will raise their national market interest, and the markets will come from inflation model to a recession model, and we may be able to survive this winter without experiencing any kind of crisis, let's say. But the problem is right now is that either the economy will totally stops and decrease for very long period of time, or this bubble collapse and everything restart again. So it's either a long period plane or a very quick plane, but that will kill you. So that is basically for most of the governments, it's the same issue. The problems are there. How you can solve the problem, you can either take a 30 years to solve the problem, or you can just cut everything. And there may be riot, there may be people suicide, but the system will re-establish sooner. So for me, the new solutions for the next round, let's say if you have many types of economic system, for me, the next generation will be a system based on blockchain technology, which means that all the financial settlement, government decisions, even voting, even big bank transaction are made not on a public chain, but with a private blockchain. In that case, all the users of the blockchain, all the nodes will know about all transactions, and the system becomes much more transparent. So let's say back to 2008, if JP Morgan and Lehman Brothers, all those companies, all those big names, if they use a decentralized system, the 2008 crisis will never happen, because it happens because the credit system can't be trusted anymore. That's why the whole system collapsed. So we need to build a system without credit. We need to build a system where the code is the only law and is the only credit. So
A trustless system. A trustless
yes,
system.
that is a fair system for everyone. You are playing a fair game. If you are not playing well, you suffer the loss. But if you play well, you shouldn't suffer any loss. If you are doing anything correctly, you are accessing all the risk accordingly. If you are, let's say, a national fund or a social security fund, you purchase 3A bond, you shouldn't suffer any risk. That is not correct. So basically, we need to build functional, transparent system that allow those kind of people who don't prefer risk to not suffer any risk, no risk, no more. And for the people who are interested in getting into a lot of risk, they can still choose the right product they prefer. So that is the benefits about decentralized system. Everything is transparent. You don't need to trust, don't need credit. Just show me the code, show me the data, and I will get you all the data needed. Based on that, if I purchase an asset, I know maximally it can lose 80%. I will never lose more than 80%. So this is the right system. It shouldn't be like I purchased a 3A bond, but this bond is not good and I lost everything. I lost pensions, I lost everything from the government. It's not the right way to give credit to a financial system.
If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. But and I agree with a lot of what you said. But if I am, say, a government, or I am JP Morgan, or I am one of these big banks, why would I agree to this? Because essentially I am losing my power, right? As a big government or as a big bank, what you're proposing, it works against my self-interest. So why would I agree to this system?
So let's say if you are JP Morgan, if you are Three Arrow Capitals, for example, you are not alone in the market. So let's say if your competitors, if another company, if you have a company called Four Arrows, they have the same technology, they have the same background, and they use blockchain technology, what will happen? The credit in your company will be much less compared with their company. So it's about competition. It's like why the European nations become democratic nations, because before all nations are kingdom. They are kingdom. Why the first nation becomes a republic, and this gave pressure to all other countries. They must change, otherwise they will be destroyed by the population. So that is the idea. One, it's enough. Sometimes not you don't need even one. You just need a concept. Only the concept of communism is enough to threat all the European countries. And that's why we have social insurance. That's why we have all those compensations. Otherwise, without communism, they will not exist. That's how the capitalism absorb the good part about the revolutionary thinkings and get them a part of their own system. Blockchain will be the next step. The decentralization and the transparencies they will took from the blockchain technology and gave it into the capitalist system that we have right now. And this is already in process. And for a country or for a bank, it's not doing this.
If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. So let me ask you one question. If you are sitting here today in 2022, and we know this is the beginning of Web3, if I have to put this on you within the next 5 years, what is going to shape Web3? And you have to predict that today. What is that you think is going to change everything in the next 5 years in Web3? One specific use case or a niche that you think, if I was sitting in the beginning of 2001 and I was looking in Amazon, how Amazon developed, one use case for Web3 that's going to develop that way in next 5 to 7 years.
I think we should back to our previous conversation about why a better technology is developed. So basically, we can regard this question in two ways. We can invent some awesome tool and find the problems or find the question, and we can also find the question first and develop develop the tool. So basically, for Web3, for me, everything we need we get already from Web2. So what Web3 can bring to the market, I think the most important part is this will change eventually who have the right on data, who have the right on your own financial purchasing power. So I think those are the very important issues that will absolutely revolutionize everything. But if you ask me one particular cases, I think this will be how can I say, it's like both on both sides, regulations and also the implementation of Web3 by big companies and central banks. So I think this will be a revolutionary, let's say, steps. So right now, people in the governments, the authorities, they start to recognize after, let's say, the problems with Luna, they start to recognize how dangerous blockchain can be. And they also know the benefits of blockchain. So they are searching for blockchain solutions. So we participated some European bank calls conference in France. Basically, this is a very hot topic in Europe. And people are talking about how we can use tokenization to solve some issues of financial issues, of some cultural issues, because I talked about you have multiple languages, multiple standards, how to combine them together. So I think that this use case, the use case when the banks and the central government start to use blockchain technology, when this becomes something normal, then everything will be changed. Things will never be the same. And as a blockchain or Web3 companies, you are in a very good place. To be honest, what you need to do is you need to be compliant with the regulation. So that is the important part for the next 2 or 3 years, let's say. Because what I want to introduce is, you may already know, both SEC and MiCA, it's both SEC and European Union, they have established very severe regulations over crypto. So this will be in vigor for the next 2 or 3 years. And after those laws are being applied, it means that if you are DeFi protocols and you provide services to an address which is not KYC approved, if anything goes wrong, let's say if the account behind this address is the Korean leader Kim Jong-un, for example, if this happens, your company will suffer sanctions from all over the world, and nobody will be allowed to use the application, and no website will be allowed to host your server. So basically, that will be taking place in 2 or 3 years. And as Web3 companies, we need to be prepared for that. And as a Web2 companies, you need also to be aware that the benefits that Web3 can bring. Right now, the data is owned by the users, and you have ZK proof and everything. The user experience of Web3 solutions will be much, much better compared with Web2 solutions. For example, in our current system, if you are using a Web2 application, if you are using, if you are opening a bank account in a bank, you need to submit all your documents, your ID, your driver license, everything. So basically, it's not efficient at all. And most of the time, you have a lot of human error. I think 90% of the person who are listening or reading these conversations experience something like this. So use Web3 solutions. You can use, instead of all those documents, all those photocopy, a simple signature. And to be honest, Web3 solutions, once the Web2 companies start to use them, will be much, much more efficient than all the existing Web3 solutions. Why the Web3 solutions are now seems not that efficient? Because they keep an idea of decentralization and want to be the purest possible. But this is not the best way to solve problems. Like I said, if Web3 is a tool, so you can't just Web3 as a tool. You can combine Web3 with Web2 and to form a better and more useful tool. So I think that is the right direction. So if you abandon our concept of our idea of Web2, you can't build any efficient application. It's impossible. What website you are using, what application you are using, what terminal you are using. You are using Web2 solutions. So why don't you find a better way to use Web3 instead of build a tool and find the problems? For me, it's more about find the problems and combine the Web2 and Web3 tools to clean the problems and build a more efficient application. So I think this should be the same goal of all the Web3 developers and all the Web2 person who is interested in Web3.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you very much, you for joining us today, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise, and really looking forward. I mean, everything I shared is my point of view, but I believe in 2 or 3 years, people will see the result and prove if I was wrong or not.
Finally, I will just leave with one message. You be the arbiter of truth, the viewers of the Metaverse Street Journal.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you again. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.
If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.